We focus on health and wellness a lot here on New Day. This week, though, we're going to turn the focus on the health of your finances, especially when it comes to unexpected repair bills or equally stressful holiday shopping. Suzanne Klenk from WSECU is here to give our finances a little checkup. How are you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
It's good to see you. Yes, I think we got caught catching up just as we were coming back on camera. I need to find out about your son and how your life is going. Yeah. But let's talk about holiday spending and something that we tend not to do if we procrastinate, and that is you suggest we have a spending cap. Know what your budget is.
I think it's really important to have a spending cap. What happens is that marketing is set up to make you spend more than you're supposed to.
Right.
It's sensory overload. You get there, they're already playing Christmas music. So it's important to figure out what you can spend based on the other things that are going on in your life. Mm-hmm. Although Christmas comes at the same time every single year, right. It's still that, oh no.
Like a surprise when
right?
it does.
Exactly.
How do you know what the spending cap ought to be?
Well, I think it needs to be realistic, and that's different for every person. And so what I try to tell folks is, what do you feel comfortable spending? And not guilt spending, not what would you like to actually give? And for some of us, that can be $50, and for some of us, it can be more than that. But it's really important to look at your situation and decide what you can comfortably leave your home during this time of year when everything else is just as expensive.
Right.
Power's more expensive. And keep that in mind when you're looking to spend money on gifts.
Because you don't want to go in debt or not know what you're spending, just going out willy-nilly and spending whatever. So you suggest to make a gift list. And this seems like a good idea because you have to slow down enough to say, okay, if $50 is what I'm going to spend, let's think about what I want to buy for that, and then not be tempted to say, oh, well, at 70, that's close enough, and do it.
Exactly. I think it's really important to set up a gift list because, first of all, kids are your biggest budget buster. And so making sure that you know which children you're going to buy for, children or grandchildren, and then what type of gift that you want to get for them, and then move on to adults from there. It also gives you the power of choice. You're giving your own voice. I'm going to spend this much. You're giving yourself permission. I'm going to be buying these things.
Is it a good idea to talk to your other family members too? Because I know in my family it was a great relief when we all said, let's just do the kids. We're just doing the kids.
Exactly. I think it's really important to have that conversation because what happens is a lot of people buy out of guilt or what they think is expected of them. And if you have that conversation now, during Thanksgiving, say, gosh, what would you think about us not doing this?
Because maybe everybody else would be relieved too.
Exactly. And a lot of times kids, we set up expectations for kids, and if you sit down and have a realistic conversation about them, about what Christmas is going to look like this year, they too have been watching the news. They know the other things that are going on in the world, you know, hurricanes, fires. Right. And so just a realistic expectation of what their life looks like is a great conversation to have, not only because it's the holidays, but just because the world is moving in a different direction.
And because that's life.
Yes.
That's what they're going to be dealing with all the way along. So you talk about parties and gift exchanges, which I really like, because they're, you know, those can be way fun.
They're a whole lot of fun, but sometimes they're unexpected, and so that planning piece is the important part. But they're a huge budget buster too. You know, you get asked to a party and you head to Safeway and you grab your stuff and you grab a couple more things, and all of a sudden you've overextended your budget. So you know you're going to be invited, and there's some that time will not allow you to go to, but the ones that you do go to, grab a couple of, I always tell people, grab your favorite recipes. I'm always looking for a good one. And put those on a nice card, wrap them up in ribbon, and you have a hostess gift or an exchange gift for last minute parties.
Excellent. It doesn't have to be something expensive.
No.
Step 4, consider your travel.
It's funny when you talk to people about holiday spending, they don't even consider their travel.
No, because you think you have to do that.
They bought the tickets weeks ago, so that's not even part of their planning. Again, if we're looking to, you know, kind of take care of our budgets and kind of move ourselves out of that debt mode, figure in your travel costs, figure in gas and travel expenses as far as food and entertainment while you're traveling. Airline tickets, maybe this year your presence is the gift.
Right. And why not? The opportunity to get together.
Definitely.
And step 5 is get a head start on next year. So that's something we can be thinking about as well, because we sort of think like, oh, well, this will be over, but then January, sometimes the bills come and we have next year to think about too. So what's the best way to do that?
Your financial institution has what we call automatic transfers, right? They're called electronic funds transfers. WSECU will set up an opportunity for you to have $10 a month or $15 a month put into you can name it your holiday account. A little bit of money, out of sight, out of mind. It comes out every single month, and then surprise in November when you start hearing Frosty the Snowman, it doesn't make you crazy because you've actually got the money put away for it.
And it really doesn't take a lot to accumulate, and you really don't miss it if you don't see it to begin with.
Not at all.
So let's go backwards a little bit. You mentioned something that really caught my attention about talking to kids about expectations, because more than that they want a whole bunch of stuff, it's really kind of a matter of expectations that are met or not. So setting them seems like a good idea. Is this also a decent time to start maybe dealing with their saving, spending, charity money, just kind of, you know, getting them oriented to organizing a budget and sticking to it?
Definitely. I think that this is a really good time. Allow them to participate in the shopping and the planning of the shopping. You know, with food, they don't know what it costs to be them.
Yeah.
And so this is a really great opportunity for them to understand what it costs to buy gifts for people and wrapping and not only that, but to also spend a little bit of time around people that don't have as much as they do.
Right.
And let them know that the expectation maybe not this year isn't how many gifts you're going to give, but what we're going to give this year. You know, maybe, and maybe that isn't monetary. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's a poem. Maybe it's a, you know, a drawing. There are a lot of things that we can do for people and give of ourselves rather than give of money. And I think that that's a wonderful lesson for young people.
Well, that volunteering part of it is something that we can do, and there are always holiday drives for Northwest Harvest, for Union Gospel Mission, for people who need food or time to be given to serve those meals. And it seems like that could be a family activity.
It could be a fantastic family activity. And not only that, but your next door neighbor. We have a lot of, we have an elder population now that that gets lonely.
Right.
And so there's an opportunity for, just checking in with your local community centers. And my niece is actually a social worker, and she sent out a text yesterday that said, hey, I've got 16 kids on my caseload, and they may not have anything to open up for Christmas.
Oh, gosh.
You know, do you think you could help out? And everyone in the family was like, oh, we've been looking for something to do, right? To make ourselves feel better about what's going on in the world.
Absolutely.
And so, and kids want to participate in that as well.
They do a lot
So.
if they just get that opportunity. And then one final thing, we always forget that at our bank, at our financial institution, there are people who can help us with this, who will answer questions, help us with planning. You guys have that, obviously. Any credit union will have that. We should take advantage of that.
I think so. WSECU actually we have financial coaches, but we also have member service officers that are there specifically to not only help you with that budgeting piece, but also to provide services to you. Credit unions are cooperatives. We're owned by our membership, so our services don't cost you. So to sit down and figure out, you know, is there a way to consolidate my bills so that I have a little bit more money extra every single month? Is there a faster way for me to get out of debt? Is there an opportunity for me to maybe talk to a financial planner and, you know, plan for a different future? Right. So definitely this is a great time to do that, because it's just before the holidays. We're going to save some money doing some different things.
And it's free. It's part
free.
of the services.
It's part of your membership. You own it already, so not taking advantage of it is leaving services and money on the table. And then your tax returns coming up, so there's an opportunity to start planning.
Don't
for
tell
that.
me about that. I don't want to think about
Right?
that.
Yeah.
I promise to make a budget if you don't make me think about taxes.
Yes.
Thank you, Suzanne. We've posted Suzanne's tips and other helpful resources on our website. I hope you'll take a look. Our wellness experts return to answer your questions after a quick break.